Standing over the defeated Saiyan, Frieza sneers for him to just look at himself. So much for the legend of the Super Saiyan he claimed to be. He is a complete waste. Frieza acknowledges that he would have killed him sooner or later anyway, but he should feel honored to have been met with his final form. He rarely ever goes out of his way to use it against worms like him. He mocks that long live the prince of a dead race. Did he really think he had any chance against him? If he did, he's even more delusional than he thought. What was he hoping for? A miracle? There will be no miracles for him. As we can see in clear view, even the combined efforts of Piccolo, Krillin, and Gohan could do nothing, not even put a scratch on Frieza's true form. Leaping into the sky, the Emperor continues that once he's done here, he'll use the Dragon Balls to finally achieve immortality and live forever. As for Vegeta, he'll be space dust floating within an endless void, just like his fallen people when they got what they had coming. Before that though, Vegeta should know that he was never going to be free. If not a slave, Frieza would have ripped his head off in due time. This is where it ends. This is where his story reaches its final chapter, a fitting end to a miserable life. As the villain charges his death ball to put an end to all of our heroes, and Vegeta in a single blow. He chuckles that he wants him to always remember who he himself is compared to the Saiyan. Frieza states that he is a god, ruler of the universe, the unstoppable, mighty Lord Frieza. He cannot be defeated and will never fall by his hands, nor any other. He tells Vegeta to consider this a parting gift, but he better not blink. He just might miss what's about to happen. Summoning the last of his strength, the prince is able to bring himself to a knee. He trembles that this cannot be the end. It just can't. He refuses to allow it to end this way. There must be a way. There's got to be. He is Prince Vegeta, the mightiest Saiyan to ever live, and he will not fall to the likes of Frieza. He can't possibly allow himself to meet this fate. He winces while wondering how dare the tyrant mock him. His people, his race. He swears to Frieza, on his life, that he will be the one to destroy him. He will be the first in thousands of years to feel the power of a Super Saiyan. He won't get away with this. Who only continues his hostility. The demon scoffs that there's nothing super about Vegeta. There never has been and never will be. Just like his foolish father, mother, and whatever he calls the other countless pathetic people he calls his own, Vegeta will fall by his hand. The only reason he never killed him when he knew he should have is because he knew Vegeta would be the perfect servant to do all his dirty work. It's all they Saiyans care about doing anyway. He then reveals this was always in his plans, the situation they find themselves in today. Those runts on the ground can't help or stop what's to come. The Namekian can't do a thing either now that he's in his final form. The Saiyan is alone here. He's welcome to give King Vegeta his regards once he sees him again in hell. Today, the sweet prince dies alone without any aid. What an amazing end to such a tragic story. Now firmly on both feet with fury in his eyes, Vegeta scowls that Frieza took everything from him. His parents, his people, his life. He doesn't care who he is or what his title is. He won't quit. In honor of his people, his warrior race who lived on to become a great empire. Before he showed up, Vegeta vows to avenge them, every last one of them. This is his destiny, to be the one to end this nightmare and bring honor back to his fallen people. Fate has it that Frieza will die by him. And for taking everything he's ever known, to enslave him and use him for his power. He will never, ever allow him to get away with the horror the Emperor has brought upon him. Vegeta knows it's in his blood. He is the Saiyan of legend. He possesses the very power Frieza fears. The very power he destroyed everyone over. The very power that will be the final nail in his coffin. As the Saiyan's energy begins to violently swell, the massive vibrations in the air pass right through Frieza. He thinks to himself that it can't possibly be true. That story is only a myth. It's not real. With tears in his eyes, the prince growls that he is the last of a mighty race. The legacy of his people is on his shoulders to carry. He will not fail them. He will not fail himself. He will be the one to show the tyrant the true power, the ultimate power of a Super Saiyan. At last hitting its fever pitch, Gohan and Krillin are able to regain their composure to witness what's happening. though confused. Krillin shouts that they have to get out of here while they still can. Something is happening with Vegeta. The explosion of power kicking up dust high into the air. Frieza's still in denial about what's going on. Where is he getting this power from? It can't be. He's just a monkey. That story is nothing but a stupid legend passed around by his stupid people. Abandoning his key attack, the Emperor instead opts to shield his eyes from the debris, left only to wonder what's going on down below. And it's exactly what he has feared. Vegeta states that he told him this is where the horror ends. He can't possibly destroy what he has become now. He must behold a power that hasn't been seen or felt in thousands of years. The power of the mightiest Saiyan warriors. The Golden Warrior of Legend. Focusing on his opponent's face, he asks what's wrong. He seems a little scared. But then again, he should be. Able to see it plain as day, Frieza lays eyes on a Super Saiyan for the first time. And still in the healing tank, Goku too wonders what just happened. Vegeta's power! It now dwarfs Frieza's! He warns the tyrant that he's going to take the one thing he values more than anything else in this world. The thing that he has taken from his people and his family. His life. Stammering and stuttering, Frieza does his best to maintain his cool. He questions if he really thinks he's afraid of him. He is the mightiest being in all the universe. Super Saiyan or not, he will show him the true terror of Lord Frieza. This is where the Saiyan dies. Letting him land a clean shot to his face. It does nothing to the newly transformed warrior. He hisses that before he dies, he's going to make sure Frieza goes before him in the most brutal and ruthless way possible. After laying into him, the Saiyan asks if he still thinks he's bluffing. Can he feel that? That's the difference between the two of them now. The gap has closed and even gone the other way. Frieza's had this coming since Vegeta was a child. As the Emperor goes flying through a rock formation, Krillin calls out to Gohan that they've got to get back to the ship as soon as possible. There's no telling what's going to happen here with these two, so it's best if they don't chance it and get the heck off this planet, instructing him to grab Piccolo and they'll go. Although the child complies, he does have a bit of concern left for Vegeta. What if he needs their help if Frieza somehow gets the better of him? He may need them in the long run. Who overhears his chatter? He barks that he doesn't need their help to finish him off, so there's no reason for him to stick around. They better get out of here before he finishes them off with them. Which pretty much settles it. The young Saiyan figures if they have no choice, it's better to leave. Battered but not finished, Frieza comes roaring back that he's going to end Vegeta. One lucky shot and a fluke transformation doesn't change anything. Squaring off, the prince can't help but comment that his foe doesn't seem to boast the same attitude as he did a few minutes ago, and he thinks he knows why. It's because he knows it's over. Little by little, he's beginning to realize that he has absolutely no chance in stopping him. Absolutely none! Because if he did, then he'd be the one in control. Springing back yet again, the tyrant bellows he's had enough of this. It's time he put an end to the last remaining monkey of defiance for good. He and his race were nothing more to him than slaves. Roaches that were inevitably going to be squashed. Dodging his punch, Vegeta calmly says, "No, Frieza. He himself will not be the one who falls on this day, but instead, it's going to be him. Does he feel that? That was for ripping him away from his destiny. That was for his father and his people. This is the power that he feared so much, and this will be the last thing he sees before being sent straight to hell." But he's not going to kill him that quickly. No, he has other plans for him. He's going to tear him apart with his bare hands first, before blasting whatever remains of his body into millions of pieces. So then, shall they continue? The situation coming to a head, Vegeta can't help but think back on all the times that Frieza made him and his family, his people, feel utterly humiliated. Goku arrives on the scene. The Saiyan brethren barely offers him a glance. Continuing to beat Frieza down for everything he's done to him over the years, Goku calls out to Vegeta that's enough. He can't even fight back anymore, prompting him to extend an arm. Perhaps Kakarot is right, but he warns Frieza that before he kills him, there's just one last thing he wants to say. Merry Christmas! Ow! Zarbon, gather the troops! We're blowing it up!
We're blowing it up?
We're blowing it the f*** up!